Hey everybody, 2020 was an amazing reading year, but 2021 is shaping up to be just as fantastic. There are so many amazing books coming out this year. So today I'm here to share 10 books that I am super excited to read in 2021. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? I hope you are happy, I hope you are healthy, and I hope that your 2021 reading year has started off really well. It is cold in Northern California right now. We are dealing with some off and on again rain. We actually are expecting a pretty big rainstorm headed our way tomorrow. So they are actually evacuating parts of Santa Cruz because they're so fearful of the amount of water we're about to get. So that means hunkering down, and what a better time to talk about books, really, because 2021 is going to have some fantastic titles. And today I want to share with you some of them that I am super excited to read. So, as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order these books from your local independent bookstore, one or two. Help the authors, help the publishers. If you are a library user and they're not out yet, request these books so that they have ordered a copy so you get them as soon as possible. So let's get started. Now, I will say I have a stack of 10 and I've already read 2. This is not a review video, so I'm not going to review them, but I will say both of the books that I've read already were fantastic. And the first of those is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. This is a tale of two black men in slavery South that have fallen in love with each other. And it's the story of how their love affects the plantation that they live on, not only their fellow slaves and themselves, but also the white owner and his family, and the repercussions of how people view their love, and that repercussions of that on not only them, but also on the plantation as a whole. This book has amazing style, amazing sentences, so well written. It is fantastic. So that's The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. This is out from Putnam. I want to say thank you for Putnam. They actually sent me this finished copy, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I cannot recommend this book highly enough. Okay, another book that I have finished already that is coming out on February 9th is The Rain Heron by Robbie Arnott. This is out from FSG, so again, thank you for this gifted copy, FSG. I really appreciate it. This is an Aussie Lit title, so this is the story. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it's sort of like part myth, part dystopian futuristic tale. It starts with this myth of the rain heron that has we have this farmer who is really struggling on her land when the rain heron appears and sort of changes her fortune. That's sort of like the myth that starts the book. And then we are introduced later on to Wren, who is a woman who has moved to this mountain to escape what's ever going on in the real world. And we learn more about that as the book progresses. But she sort of lives in a cave, she lives off the grid, and she one day is accosted by a group of soldiers who are in search of the mythical rain heron. They want to capture it because the government wants to do different experiments on it. And it's the effect, sort of the repercussions of that and the search for the rain heron that sort of motivates the plot of the book. But we also go back in time and we learn about different characters and how all of these stories sort of come together to the outcome that is just so well done. This is like it's like part Station 11, part Aesop fable in a way. I just really like the way that Robbie Arnott was able to sort of intermix those type of tones and stories. This is not a review. This is very good. So get your hands on The Rain Heron by Robbie Arnott. It's coming out in the US from FSG on February 9th, 2021, and I'm telling you it will be worth your time. Okay, so those are the 2 that I've read. I have a whole stack here now that I haven't read. The next book is also out right now, and I just got my copy, and I ordered it from my local independent, and that is Detransition Baby by Torrey Peters. And this book sounds fantastic. Fantastic. So we have a couple. We have Reese. I'm actually going to have the book help me out a little bit here. Reese almost had it all. A loving relationship with Amy, an apartment in New York City, a job she didn't hate. She had scraped together what previous generations of trans women could only dream of, a life of mundane bourgeoisie comforts. The only thing missing was a child. But then her girlfriend, Amy, detransitions and becomes Amos, and everything fell apart. Now Reese is caught in a self-destructive pattern, avoiding her loneliness by sleeping with married men. But Ames isn't happy either. He has now transitioned back into a man, and he thought that would make life easier. But the decision cost him his relationship with Reese, and losing her meant that he sort of lost the only family he knew. So even though the romance is over, he longs to find a way back. When Ames's boss and lover, Katrina, reveals that she is pregnant with his baby and that she's not sure whether she wants to keep it, Ames wonders if this is the chance that he has been waiting for. Could all three of them create a family together? I think this book sounds fascinating. Just the dynamics of the relationship, the discussion of gender, the discussion of family, and all of that just is so interesting to me. So that's Detransition Baby by Torrey Peters, and this is out from One World. Yeah, this was one of the books that I pre-ordered the minute I heard about it because I knew that I really, really wanted to read it. So I'm really excited for that one. The next book is actually, I got it through Book of the Month. It comes out in February, but it was an early release. And that's This Close to Okay by Leesa Cross-Smith. You guys probably saw this one in my last book haul if you went there, but it is one of my most anticipated reads of 2021 because I love Leesa Cross-Smith. I loved Whiskey and Ribbons. This is the story of a woman who one day is driving home. And she sees a man about to jump off of a bridge, and she stops him from doing so. She is recently divorced, really hasn't dealt with that as well, but she brings this man home, and over a weekend they have this really intense I'm going to say relationship where they sort of just start to dive into each other's pasts. And it turns out that he is not the only one that needs help, that she has stuff to deal with as well. And she's a therapist by trade. Does she tell that to this man, or does she keep that to herself? And as she's doing sort of this discussion with him about what's been going on, what does she learn about herself and what she has to get over in her own right? So that's This Close to Okay by Leesa Cross-Smith. This is out from Grand Central Publishing, and you guys can get your copy in February, or if you were Book of the Month, we were able to get it earlier. I'm not sponsored by Book of the Month, but I do get a good book every month from them. Love them. So the next book I'm going to tell you about is Milkfed, and that's by Melissa Broder. This is out from Scribner, and this comes out on February 2nd. Now, Melissa Broder wrote The Pisces. You guys may remember that book from a couple of years ago. It was longlisted for the Women's Prize, and it had all sorts of discussion around it. I love Melissa Broder because she writes women that I feel are so real in not only their authenticity, but also just in their awkwardness, and sometimes you don't like them and sometimes you just don't understand them, but she does an amazing job of doing that. So this is the story of Rachel. She's 24. It says she's a lapsed Jew, has made calorie restrictions her religion. By day, she maintains an illusion of existential control, but by way of obsessive food rituals. But one day her therapist encouraged her to take a 90-day communication detox from her mother. Her mother's really the one that's always pushed this sort of weight issue on her and taught her how to calorie count and all of that. So early in that process, she meets Miriam, and Miriam is a woman who worked at her favorite frozen yogurt shop and is intent upon feeding her. Rachel is suddenly and powerfully entranced by Miriam, but her Sundays and her body, her faith and her family, and as the two grow closer, Rachel embarks on a journey marked by mirrors, mysticism, mothers, milk, and honey. So I think that this book is going to be really interesting. I bet it's going to be messy at times, but she just has a way of writing characters that I'm interested in, and I usually tend to have an affinity towards. So that's Milkfed by Melissa Broder. This is out from Scribner, again on February 2nd, 2021. Okay, this is a collection. The next thing is a collection of short stories that are coming out. This is edited by Kwon. and Garth Greenwell, and this is Kink, and this is coming out from Simon & Schuster on February 9th, 2021. This is a collection of stories that sort of delves into, I like the way it says it on the back, it's like the world of desire. It's like the imaginative world of desire sort of looked at through these lenses and given shape in a culture that tends to sort of keep this stuff in the back. And why do we do that? Why don't we allow who we are sexually and in our intimacy sort of define who we are and understand who we are? I have already read the Brandon Taylor story because, you know, I'm a stan Brandon Taylor fan. It is very, very good. But this has stories from Roxane Gay, Alexander Chee, Brandon Taylor, Carmen Marie Machado, R.L. Kwon, Garth Greenwell. So it is a stacked collection, and I'm super excited to read the stories by the people I do not know. So this is out on February 2nd. This is Kink, a collection of short stories edited by R.L. Kwon and Garth Greenwell. And I think that that's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to dive into it and sort of talk about it with people. Another book that I'm really excited to read, and it's been sitting on my shelf for about 3 weeks now, that's The Center of Everything by Jamie Harrison. This is out from, excuse me, Counterpoint Press, and they're local to me. You know, I'm such a fan of Counterpoint Press. But one, this cover is absolutely beautiful. Let's just start there. Okay. So, lovely cover. This is the story of a woman. It's set in the early 2000s in Montana. She has had an accident where she's having some issue with her memory, with some issues with her cognitive skills. And what happens is sort of the past is becoming part of the present. And her family has arrived, it's 4th of July weekend, and her family has arrived for this big event, and a friend comes and winds up getting lost in Yosemite, I believe. Yellowstone, sorry, along the Yellowstone River. Yosemite's in California, not in Montana. I get it. And as that investigation goes on and the family is sort of trying to find this woman that's gone missing, our main character is dealing with these images from the past and all of this stuff that keeps coming up that's putting into perspective maybe things that she never thought about before or she didn't recognize about her family and about everything that's going on. I'm really excited for this book. I started it actually, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be read fairly soon. So that's The Center of Everything by Jamie Harrison, out from Counterpoint Press. This is out now. You can get your hands on it as we speak. So I'm super excited about that. And thank you, Counterpoint Press, for gifting me this finished copy. It is so beautiful. I could just sit here and do this the rest of the day and stare at it in this video. Okay, 3 more. Only 3 more because this could have been like a 20 and 30 book video, but I'm only doing 10. The next book is actually a collection of short stories, and that's The Souvenir Museum by Elizabeth McCracken. Now, she wrote Bolaway. Do you guys remember that novel? It was very popular a few years ago. And she's going to dive into the sort of different dynamics of family in this collection. You know, I always struggle when I haven't read a collection to really feel out how I'm going to thematically put this all together. But I know that she deals with the families that are tested, transformed, fractured, and fortified. And you know, I love myself a good book about family and family dynamic. I've actually read the first story in this book. It is very, very good. So I am super excited for this. Oh, I should say this is from Ecco Press, and this is coming out in April 2021. So that's The Souvenir Museum by Elizabeth McCracken. This is out again from Ecco in April 2021. Seems like April is so far away, but let's be honest, it will be here before we know it. So get your hands on this one, pre-order. If you are a short story collection aficionado, I'm pretty sure you're going to want that one on your shelf. I promise. Now let's do a little science fiction. How does that sound? If you guys remember a couple of years ago, I was obsessed with Kate Hope Day's novel, If Then. I absolutely loved it. And she has a new book coming out from Random House. This one comes out on March 2nd, 2021. Now again, you know, I should qualify all of this and say, I use the dates that are on the books that are sent to me. Publishing dates they're subject to change. So it could come earlier, it could come later. But this is In the Quick by Kate Hope Day. This is a space sci-fi adventure / romance novel. So we have our main character, June, who is She's a brilliant sort of engineer, but she's very difficult to deal with and work with. And she's trying to solve the mystery of a spaceship that went missing, that one of the components was built by her uncle. I think it's uncle. I need you to make sure that that is right. Yes, uncle. So he invented the fuel cells that this ship used. It got missing, but she seems to think that the people on it may still be alive. So she enlists the help of a prodigy that used to sort of work for her uncle, and they go sort of diving into this mystery, and their relationship changes as we go along. And what happens is, as they sort of become closer and closer, things start to go more and more awry. I'm not going to go too much more into it because I want to be surprised. Kate Hope Day has a way of keeping me sort of on the edge of my seat, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. So if I dive too much into it, I don't want anything to be ruined. I want her to allow her to take me on that journey. So that's In the Quick by Kate Hope Day. This is actually also a really beautiful cover too, right? And this is out from Random House on March 2nd, 2021. I'm really excited about that one. That's going to be read very soon. All of these are going to be read very soon, as long as I can get everything done in my life. Yeah. The next book, and the last that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, is The Removed by Brandon Hobson. Now, Brandon Hobson wrote Where the Dead Sit Talking, which was shortlisted for the National Book Award a couple of years ago, which I absolutely loved. So this book that is coming out from Ecco in February is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, because I wanted to see what he was going to follow up that book with, because I loved it so much. Now, this is the story of a family dealing with the loss of a son. The 15-year-old son is killed in a police shooting, and the family really never deals with the grief. And we have the mom character. I'm going to help this one. So the mother, Maria, increasingly struggles to manage the onset of Alzheimer's in her husband, Ernest. Their adult daughter, Sonia, leads a life of solitude, punctuated only by spells of dizzying romantic obsession. And their other son, Edgar, fled home long ago, turning to drugs to mute his feelings of alienation. Now, a bonfire is coming, and that bonfire is important because it marks the Cherokee National Holiday, and also the death of the son. And the mother tries to bring the family together to use this event to sort of get them all to, the catharsis of going through their loss together, and maybe help them all deal with everything that's going on. Because also the father is slipping away through Alzheimer's. So there's a lot that's going to be dived into here. And plus, we're going to be really getting into the Cherokee culture, and all of that's going on as this event continues to happen. Again, I try really hard when I'm really excited about a book not to know too much and to read no reviews, because hype is a killer for me. But this is one of my most anticipated reads. Again, another phenomenal cover. And that is The Removed by Brandon Hobson. This is out in February from Ecco Books. Please order it. Please order Where the Dead Sit Talking, because it is also phenomenal, and support him, because I really think he's a phenomenal writer. So I'm so excited for this one. So that is a stack of 10 books that I am so excited to read. I hope you guys thought they all sounded really interesting as well. I hope they all make it on your TBR. As always, if you are a return subscriber to my channel, I could not do this without you. Thank you so very much. If you are new to my channel, I hope you stick around. I hope all of these books wind up on your TBR, and that you like to talk about books and comment down below. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, guys.